What's up, guys? We are back in the garage with the STI. Today we're going to go ahead and do the TGV deletes. So I've got the housings up on the bench. We're going to go ahead, start cutting them open, get them ground down to match the gasket sizes, and then we'll start polishing them up. Alright, as you guys can see, I've got this in the vise here on the table. We're going to go ahead and come in, get those screws, take those out, get the butterflies out. Then we'll come down, take that off, and then we'll start cutting away the metal flap that's in there. It's on the back side. You can't see it right now because the butterfly valves are closed. But we'll get all that cut out, and then we'll line up gaskets on both sides and start cutting away. Alright guys, so we got the screw heads drilled out of this one. So now what I'm going to do is pull out the butterfly valves that are in there and then come around. Then we'll come around to this side, take that cover off and drive out the bar that's through there. We'll take this cover off. We'll take this one off and we'll drive the bar out. And then we'll pull it out and then we'll JB weld in some bolts into those holes. I got the other TGV housing and I thought I had gotten the right bolts. They didn't quite work. I had some thinner ones, but I had already drilled out one side, so I JB welded one side in there. I think it's going to be good. I'll go back once that is set up real good, and I'll cut out the ends of it and I'll get in there in the back and JB weld over that hole. Plug it up real good with some JB weld deep in that hole. Let that set and then we'll grind down. Hopefully that'll work. If not, I still have the set that's on the car so we can play around with those as well. Alright guys, so we got the JB weld and the bolts in there. See if we can get a shot of that to focus. There we go. So we got the JB weld in there. Got it on the outside as well. And I went ahead and did this one too. So what I'm going to do now is go ahead, cut out the valves and the end of those bolts and then grind that down pretty close. That way what I can do is get some JB weld on the inner of that hole, let that set overnight. I probably won't get back to this till tomorrow just because I want to make sure it's good and set. And then I'll line up the gaskets, mark everything, and then start porting it out. It's just a mild port. They're almost exactly the right size. I may even just do it with a sanding roll, just to get in there, get everything nice and smooth, make sure we clean up all the edges from where we deleted stuff and get it perfectly smooth since it is on the intake side before the fuel. Or actually it's not, so we'll go ahead and do the matte finish since that's where the injectors go. We'll get it to a matte finish and not perfectly smooth. Alright, I'm going to get into that and we'll catch you in a little bit. Alright guys, so we are maybe halfway through cleaning out the insides of these. I am going to have to go to the store for some long bits because this is going to have to go back to eBay because there's absolutely no way to use that. It bent as soon as I put it in there. So I'm going to send that back, Looks like it was a made in China piece of junk, so that's going back. I'll have to go buy an actual store, pick up a quality piece. That was like an Amazon's Choice top rated thing, so I'm not really sure what happened, but I'm going to shoot Amazon an email, let them know that it was a piece of junk and get my money back on that. So this just takes a while grinding it down, especially since we're trying to grind down a piece of metal that's sticking out like it was. It's just going to take a while. I'm going to keep at it and throw you back up on the time lapse. We'll catch up later. Got them ground down. You can see in there they're still really rough inside. I'm gonna go ahead, do another round of JB weld. I'm not gonna film the second one because I feel like that's probably gonna be a really long time lapse. I'm gonna have to cut some of it. It did make it harder, that piece of junk long carbide bit. If that had worked, I think it would have gone a lot smoother. But it is what it is. I'll pick up a new one, either order it and do a little more research, or just pick one up at Home Depot or Lowe's. Hopefully they've got some. So I'm gonna go ahead, JB weld this up. All right guys, I am back from vacation. Went down to Disneyland with the kids, the wife, and everybody. So now that we're back from that, it's time to jump back onto these TGV deletes, start really cranking out this car as best I can. Work is heating up for me as well, so I really do want to get as much done as I can any opportunity I have. So what I'm going to do now is I've got it knocked down pretty good on these TGV housings. I want to go in, mark up where the gasket sits on the outside, take the sanding roll and try and get that nice and not smooth, but like a matte finish in there, but get all the contours the right shape, get it out as far as I can without interfering with the gasket. And then we'll move on from there. I'm probably just gonna do one on camera for you guys since it is a very tedious process and it's just the same thing, one versus the other. But we'll see how it goes. I may time lapse both, I don't know. But let's check it out. I'll show you guys on the TGV housing. We've got the TGV housing here. What I'm gonna do is take this gasket, line it up with two of the bolts. Now they don't fit perfectly, so you can't just leave them in there loose. You do have to line this up, but if you get this lined up, get firmly on it, you can see the opening there. And get right on both and just come in here with a marker. The marker will wipe off of the aluminum housing. The real way to do this is with some Dykem, but I don't have any machinist blue. And I'm not going to fully be porting these out to the edges and going into huge in-depth, you know, port matching on this. So this will be fine. This will give me a rough guide of what'll still be covered with the gasket once I port out. I'm really just worried about these little bumpy edges here where it ribs up. You can see it's already kind of starting to come off. So you just got to be careful. You will also notice I borrowed my neighbor's air compressor so that I can go ahead and use an air die grinder. I bought a 90-degree one as well as a regular one. The 90-degree one with the extended bit works fantastic. It's much easier to control. So I'm going to be using that. One thing you want to make sure you do, use eye protection, use ear protection when you're doing this. You're going to get shavings everywhere, so just be careful. Take the right precautions. I'm going to go ahead and set up the time lapse. We'll jump into finishing this off. guys, so that is a wrap on these. I've got them about as polished as I'm going to get with what I've got. I got to get a polishing rag to get in there if I decide I want to get any more polished on it. We are done with both TGVs. Went ahead, did both, sanded them down. I used a Mr. Gasket kit from Amazon. I thought it was going to be a good kit. I saw it recommended by somebody else. It says that it comes with a nice container that tells you what everything is. It doesn't. It's all lumped into a bag, which is a pain to try and figure out what grits are what. It is possible, but for the same price, you can get a kit from Eastwood that does come in a nice case, all labeled out. It also comes with longer mandrels. So the only thing that you would need to get at that point is anything like a flapper wheel for your die grinder. I do recommend using a die grinder. I did these with both a die grinder and an extended bit. An air die grinder and an extended bit is much easier than trying to use the electric. I also couldn't get the electric slowed down enough to use the long reach bits, so they did wind up warping. I went through about 2 of them before I finally gave up, just borrowed the neighbor's compressor and bought an air die grinder. The air die grinders aren't much. I got mine from Harbor Freight. They were like $15 each, so I think I spent like 30 bucks. And they come with a warranty and everything. So those are the ones that I would recommend using. I'm going to clean these up. The next thing that we're going to do is start taking apart the headers. We'll get the headers taken apart. We'll get them on the car, get them on the bench, clean off the carbon deposits so that we can mark them. We're going to actually scribe them. Probably use some Dicam to scribe them. So we'll mark those because I do want to port those as large as possible all the way through. And then we'll bolt them back up. Other than that, the only things we want to port other than that, we're going to do the throttle body, the turbo, and the Y-pipe on the intercooler. The Y-pipe should be pretty simple, so maybe we'll throw that in with like the throttle body. The throttle body should be pretty simple to do as well. You're not removing much on the throttle body. You just want to give it a smooth transition and then polish it really nice. So anyways, I'm rambling here about all the other things we're going to do. I am going to be slowing down the video uploads. It's probably going to go to once a week at the most right now because I am extremely busy with work right now. So that's just, you know, with all of that going on plus taking care of the kids, I'm just not going to have as much time to work on the car, unfortunately. So the car will take longer to get back together. Videos will slow down, but I will try and keep it consistent at 1 a week. Other than that, guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. It really helps me out when you guys hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. Leave me feedback. I am always reading those comments, paying attention to what you guys are saying. So do that, and then we will catch you guys next time where we'll start working on the headers.